I thought the call, okay, so initially I thought the call was going to be just a counseling session. Just here's where I'm at. Tell me where you think I should go. And it ended up being so much more than that. It ended up, you didn't tell me where you thought I should go. You helped me to clear out so that I can see for myself where I needed to go. And that was the major takeaway from that entire session was, number one, I didn't realize how much I was holding on to. And number two, I didn't realize that I could actually direct myself if I release all that baggage. Directly after the session, I remember I was exhausted. And I had been crying and I felt really empty. So right after the session, I remember I didn't want to hear anything. I went into the room, I turned off all the fans, I shut the door, and I just laid in silence. It's the best sleep I had in I don't even know how long. And from that point on, it was like I was able to maneuver differently. And I was really sensitive to sound and people around me, and just being really aware of what I just released and what I'm willing to deflect so that I don't hold on to those things. So prior to me meeting you both, I didn't really understand, number one, what I was holding on to, why I was holding on to it, and how it was affecting me in my day-to-day. So moving forward after that session, I was really able to recognize when something happened. Oh, wait a minute. There's an underlying message here, and it's not about the surface. And just having that awareness and keeping that on the forefront has helped me to make more decisions for myself, what I will accept, what I won't accept, and giving myself permission to be in that feeling and not carry it. You two are going to help a lot of people. And because there's a lot of people that were like me who just didn't realize what they were holding on to and how it was hindering them in so many different ways. And, it's a work in progress. There are some moments where I think that, oh my gosh, this is a big deal, blah, blah, blah. And I want to carry it with me. But I always just go back and just remind myself all that happened that day. And it was only that one day, one session. Imagine if I'd have kept going. But that one session can catapult you so far beyond your imagination. And that to me was the lesson.
Wow. Yeah, thank you for that. That's that's very touching. And that's why we do what we do. And to just anybody who's watching this is like, you were really good. Like, I reviewed our session a couple weeks ago and I was like, oh man, like, and you just went with it. Like, that's the thing. Like, you went with it. You were super coachable. You just tuned in. You're super intuitive. You went into the feelings and you just played out, full out 100%. And that's why you got those results, and you remembered afterwards too. Like, you stayed aware and you reflected. So that's awesome. Cool.
Absolutely. I haven't watched the replay. I'm not ready, but I do remember I was at a point in my life where I was willing to accept what you guys were giving me. I don't know if I would have been willing to go there prior. So I was at a perfect state where it was like, you know what, just go with it and be willing to accept the goodness that is going to come out of this. It might be, it takes a level of vulnerability to admit to yourself, yeah, I do have some baggage and that I want to release. And that's what I would say to anybody, is just be willing to be vulnerable. In that session, I remember there was an area where he wanted me to go there about how I felt about fatherhood and the male figures in my life. And in that session, I remember that particular moment, I was a little reserved because we had already gone through so much. And that is the area that now I still have to work on. And, that's all about the awareness and the recognition. Everything else, it took off with wings. The business grew. in areas I didn't really expect. People were coming to me with problems that I didn't know I had the solution to. And then I became an international bestseller in 8 different countries off the first compilation that I ever wrote in. I ended up training with Les Brown for speaking. So everything aligned. And I mean, it's hard to believe that it was only just a few months, 6 months ago, 10 months ago that we had that session, and all these things happened sequentially because I was free. Mentally, I had freed myself from all that baggage. There are things in your life that you don't know what you're holding on to. I didn't know what I was holding on to, and I didn't know how it was holding me back. And until I had the session, I didn't really understand the concept of abundance. And I'm not talking about just money. I'm talking about abundance of health, abundance of, awareness, abundance of prosperity, abundance of networks and relationships. All these different areas in your life, I was holding myself back from because there was things I was holding on to. And so this one session, number one, it's going to help you to release. And it's going to help bring awareness so that you can carry these lessons with you in any area of your life and start to work on those things and progress. And you'll see the results. That's all I can really say is release so you can receive.